Hello, dear friends. This is lesson number 9 in the series of Indian writing in English. And today, in this lesson, we shall discuss another important writer, and the name is Kamala Markandya. She was born in the year 1924 and died 2004. Whenever this name comes before your eyes, Kamala Markandya, you should remember one prominent work, and that is Nectar in a Sieve. Nectar in a Sieve. It was her first novel, and it was published in the year 1954. But before that, a few things about her personal life. She is a British Indian writer. She was born in Mysore and later in by the year 1948, yes, she got settled in England. And her original name, that is Kamla Purnia. Okay, Kamla Purnia. And from or by her marriage, she takes the name Kamla Taylor, and the name of her husband is Bertrand Taylor. So remember, so Kamala Markandya is her pseudonym, the pen name she uses, Kamala Markandya. Now, so far as this work is concerned, Nectar in a Sieve, it is settled in rural India. And the title of this work comes from a poem written by a romantic writer, that is S.T. Coleridge. Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He wrote a poem, and the name of that poem is Work Without Hope. From that poem, we get the title of this work. Now, in this work, the central character is a lady, the protagonist, Rukmani. So, throughout the work, we see the struggle of this girl, Rukmani. She is the narrator of the story as well. Remember this point because once it was asked in the NET exam that who is the narrator of this work. So, Rukmani is the narrator. Okay, this is a very interesting work. And if you are interested in reading pathetic stories, the stories of struggle, then you should read the detailed summary of this work. Okay, you may go for Google or Wikipedia. I shall also try to present you the detailed study or the detailed summary of this work someday in a separate video. But for the moment, you should remember the name Rukmani, and the name of her husband is Nathan. Nathan or Nathan. She was the youngest daughter of her parents, and she was married to a very poor man, Nathan. Her hopes were with the life, something that she should have something like a decent life or a pleasant life, but her life was full of struggle. And in the end, we see that her husband got died. And in the story, we also see that she had several children. The name of the children are not so important, but remember this fact that by the end of the story, we see one of, her husband died and one of her son as well is killed. And okay, there are other aspects like zamidari, or you can say the landlord system, how the poor farmer gets struggled to pay off their debts. So these sort of things are there. And okay, one more fact you should remember, Rukmani is married to Nathan at the age of 12. So remember, Rukmani is the narrator of the story Nectar in a Sieve. And then the next work by her is Some Inner Fury. Some Inner Fury, and it was published in the year 1955. For this work, you should remember two or three things only. First, the work is settled, or the background of the work is during the period of Indian independence struggle. And the central character of this work is Mirabai. She is a young educated girl. and her love interest is a British civil servant. So a man working in the British, you can say, civil services. So that is her love interest, and her brother is anti-British sort of person. So remember Mirabai from Some Inner Fury. The next work, Silence of Desire, it was published in the year 1960. Okay, these are minor works. Don't go deep into the details. Just remember one work to go or study deeply, that is Nectar and Sieve. In this work, Silence of Desire, that was published in the year 1960, there is again the protagonist, a woman. So, in all these works, we have the women or the female protagonist. She, the central character, she seeks medical treatment from a doctor without the knowledge of her husband. So that sort of a story we have. And then we have possessions. Once there was a question regarding this work as well. Okay, we will not take this work deeply. In this story, we have a shepherd, and this shepherd later turns into an artist, and later he goes to Britain and there he meets a lady, and then his life gets ruined. So possession is not having the main character as female. uh, in other works we have the female as a prominent character, but in possessions we have a male character. Then Handful of Rice, remember this name, Nectarine Sieve, then other important name is Handful of Rice. Now, in this work, a man named Ravi Shankar is the main character, and he is starving with hunger. So remember, handful of rice. So you can connect the things that the main character Ravi Shankar, he is starving, he is dying with hunger. So that sort of a story we have. Here we have the contents or the elements of the post-independent India. Post-independent, where we have the black marketeers or even the money hoarders. So that sort of a things we see in this work. After that, you have several names. Coffer dams. There was once a question in UGC NET exam regarding this work. So it was published in the year 1969. Then a few other works like Nowhere Man. This work was published in the year 1972, and then Two Virgins, published in the year 1973. The last work, the name that is there, The Golden Honeycomb, it was published in the year 1977. Now we can relate this work to her husband. The work, The Golden Honeycomb, is dedicated to her husband. So Kamala Markandya dedicated this work, The Golden Honeycomb, to her husband. So when you read these names, again the question comes to your mind that how can I remember? And again I'm saying that don't need to remember, just go through them once or twice. So even by the end of this, okay, not by the end of this video, but as the list is now over, now if you can recall two or three important works about every writer, that is super fine. So in this work we have considered Nectarine Sieve, that is most important work. Then A Handful of Rice, that is also important work. Then we have the last work that we discussed, The Golden Honeycomb, dedicated to her husband. And after that we have one more work, Possessions, published in the year 1963 or so, Cofferdam. So like this, if you recall these names and study these works a bit deeper, not in great depth, but okay, just a surface knowledge at least you should have about these works. Anyway, now see how much that you have got from this video. Now we have the questions from the previous year papers. So the first question, what is the correct combination of the following? Now, there is one work that you have to associate with Kamala Markandya, and that is Yes, pretty simple. Coffers Dam. Coffers Dam. This is the work that is written by Kamala Markandya. Okay, we have done R.K. Narayan as well a few videos back. R.K. Narayan. So the work written by him, that is The Dark Room. Remember, R.K. Narayan has written The Dark Room. Now these two names, Balchandra Rajan and Roman Basu, we haven't gone through them, and these are not so very important names, so we will not. Okay, possibly if there will be time we shall consider them. Otherwise I just tell you now that which are the works written by them. The work Tamarind Tree, it is written by Roman Basu. Tamarind or tamarind is, it is something in Hindi like imli ka ped. This is written by Roman Basu and Balchandra Rajan. He has written the work The Dark Dancer. Okay. Next question. So from this question, if you know at least one correct match, with the two, definitely you will get the right answer, right option. But at least one correct match you should remember. So next question. Who is the narrator in Kamala Markandya's Nectar in Sieve? Pretty simple, you can easily answer. Rukmani. Rukmani is the right answer for this work. She is the narrator, and the name of her husband is Nathan. And further, can you recall the fourth character, Mira, from which work? That is Some Inner Fury. Anyway, moving on to the next question, we have a list to match. Okay, I just settled this. Okay, now that's right. Match the columns. So we have discussed only one writer so far among this. Okay, this list. These writers, Anita Desai, we are yet to discuss Nayantara Sehgal and Arun Joshi. Okay, so remember, Kamala Markandya has written the work that is The Nowhere Man. In the list, in the end, there was a name Nowhere Man. This was published in the year 1972. Again, I say, just go through these questions time and again, time and again. Such repetitions will definitely make you mug up these names. So, Kamala Markandya wrote this work, Nowhere Man. Now, a few more names, if I tell you right now, Nayantara Sehgal. Okay, we shall consider this important writer. Just try to correlate this writer with Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, she is a relative of the first Prime Minister of India, Nayantara Sehgal, and she has written this work, Rich Like Us. Okay, when we discuss this writer, definitely that time, but for the moment, because we should relate the things whenever we have any reference. Nayantara Sehgal, you can just make a quick note. She has written very important work, Rich Like Us. There is one more work, that is Storm in Chandigarh. The two important work by him, Storm in Chandigarh. So as I just recall these names, because somewhere these things stuck in our mind. Now, Anita Desai, she has written this work, that is In Custody. And Arun Joshi, he has written The Last Labyrinth. Okay, Anita Desai, she is also very important writer that we have to discuss. Okay, In Custody, that is important work by her. Next question, which among the following is not written by Kamala Markandya? You can easily answer this, I need not. Some Inner Fury, the central character with Meera, by And Nowhere Man, we know this, that is published in the year 1972. The Golden Honeycomb. This work is dedicated to her husband. And the name A Time to Be Happy. This work is not written by her. And then, who has written this work? A Time to Be Happy. This is written by Nayantara Sehgal. Okay. So with the Nayantara Sehgal, you can now correlate three works. The first is Rich Like Us, we just discussed, then Storm in Chandigarh, and A Time to Be Happy. Next question. Now we have again a long list of the works, so we have to match them. Remember one thing, in UGC NET exam, there will be some very in-depth question. So if there are such, it is not always necessary that we should go deeper into every writer. Like here, you will have the names like Humayun Kabir. Even when I was studying, I never studied this writer. Even Babani Bhattacharya, okay, I read a few things about this writer, but about Humayun Kabir, I never. Anyway, so Kamala Markandya, we can connect this writer to possessions. Just recall, we have discussed this word possession. And we have also discussed this writer Manohar Malgonkar. Before this writer, there was Manohar Malgonkar, and he has written Combat of Shadows. With Manohar Malgonkar, if you again try to recall Distant Drums, this is very important work, and The Bend in Gange. Ganges, that is also, and Combat of Shadows. Now, Humayun Kabir has written Men and Rivers, and Babani Bhattacharya has written A Goddess Named Gold. Next question now we take up, that is again a list. So in such a list, again I say two or three matches can, okay, not two or three, one or two match can easily work for you. So now even such names like, I haven't gone through them before. So first with Kamala, which work we can connect to that is Nectar in a Sieve. Nectar in a Sieve by her. Then other works, Between the Twilights. This work is written by Cornelia Sorabji. Sorabji, okay, maybe like this name. Between the Twilights. Okay, don't go for remembering these names. I am just telling you for the sake of this question only. The Hindu Wife. This work is written by Raj Lakshmi Devi, or Devi you can call it, and Karupabai Shantinatha. Shantinath. She has written a work, Saguna or Sagun maybe, a story of native Christian life. This work is autobiographical sort of, you can say, having the content like autobiography. Saguna. Okay, so remember, Kamala Markandya has written Nectar in Sieve. This is very important point. Now, one last question for this writer. Arrange in chronological order. So, chronological order, four works we have: Midnight Children, Nectar in Sieve, Kanthapura, Calcutta Chromosome. We can't remember the years of each and every work, this is for sure. But how can? Even in this series of Indian writing, we have several writers. Do you remember any of the writer related to these works? Kanthapura, who is the writer? Raja Rao. So Raja Rao has written this work, and we are discussing these writers in their chronology. So by this we can relate the things. Kanthapura, this work was written in the year 1938. Okay, 1938. Then other writers like for Midnight Children, what is the name of the writer? Salman Rushdie, very important writer. We shall discuss him. So we shall discuss, and then Calcutta Chromosome. This is written by Amitabh Ghosh. If I am right, Amitabh Ghosh has written this. So the correct chronological order would be first Kanthapura, then Nectar in Sea by Kamala Markandya, Then Midnight Children, it is written in the year 1981 or so. And then we have Calcutta Chromosome, it is somewhere around 1995. So this is how. For Nectar Sieve, do you remember the year? I mentioned in the beginning of this audio or this lesson 1954. So now we can easily find the correct order. So Kantapura, then Nectar Sieve, then Midnight Children, written by Salman Rushdie. It is also related to the independence of India. Remember, Midnight Children, midnight. Just relate this word to the independence of India. And then Calcutta Chromosome. So this is the end of this lesson. We had several questions and so many new names also came up to the surface. Okay, a few important points again that you should remember these three works. Nectar Sieve, very important. If possible, go deep into the study of this work. Then other names like Coffers, Dam, Possession, Silence of Desire, or Some Inner Fury, these are also worth remembering. So, thanks a lot for watching this lesson and have a very nice day.